On December 17th, 2021, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was released. At the time, Security Breach was the biggest game in the entire franchise because it was the first game to be a fully free-roam game. It was known for its glitches and bugs, and speedrunners used this to their advantage, and the gameplay of Security Breach, unlike the title, takes only one night instead of 5 nights, or 7 hours. Each hour a new task is provided to the player, and each task they complete, it unlocks something new, like a location, security badge, or a different mission. Each choices can be made each hour, which can decide which upgrade the player would like to get, or which ending they would want to get. I have experience with recreating Security Breach in the past, as last year I recreated the daycare part of the game, where I made the fast watch, flashlight, Freddy, and a bunch of other things, which I can definitely think can be upgraded and revamped. So let's get started into this massive project. So the first thing we should get started on is the build itself, and as you can see we have the mirror and Freddy's room itself right here, and it's all built up including the rest of Rockstar Row, as you can see here, with all the banners, the statues and everything else. I've also made a door, and inside of this room is the where you get the one free photo pass. As you can see, here's the gift box, and on the other side of this door is some outlines but not actually a complete area, because we don't need it for the first part of this game or the episode. So I've just left it as outlines, and the entire Pizzaplex is not actually built up because we don't need the entire Pizzaplex for this episode. However, I do have some rough outlines for most of it, which I got help with, which I'll tell you more about later. So here we are, and we have a bunch of different Glamrock Freddy player head and a block under it. And what I have figured out is you can use camera overlay. So as you can see, camera overlay will make a redstone block appear over the player's head when you're wearing that, just like a carved pumpkin. So if I were to put this on my head, it will, as you can see, give me the overlay of cyan glass. So it looks like we are viewing through a cyan glass panel. And if I take that off, I can just take it off, and it's just like any other helmet, like a carved pumpkin. And the rest of these do a redstone block, and nether wart, and the other ones. So if I put this on, as you can see, we get the redstone block overlay, and we're wearing the Glamrock Freddy head, and that's what I've made up for using the intro sequence to the game. So with a bunch of things right here, if I were to start it, as you can see, it's chained a bunch of them to make it look like we are Freddy. It was as entitled as the screen and a few ticks, and then we'll be teleported in front of the mirror in Freddy's room and given the overlay to make it look like we are Glamrock Freddy himself. And this actually is a great touch, and very great that I found it. And it's also made the scale of me a bit taller, because Glamrock Freddy is taller than the player in the base game. So as you can see, I'm 1.2, but my regular size is 1. But I can make myself a much more bigger and a lot more smaller, depending on what size I actually need. And it's a very handy command, and I really love when I updated to 1.21.plus, and I got these features. So now let's work on the actual cutscenes themselves and Freddy inside of the mirror. Now this map will have a lot of scoreboard timers, as you can see here. There are already lots of them, as you can see, with all the repeating command blocks with the chains on top. So as you can see, I have quite a little setup more than before, and over here is the dialogue that happens between Gregory and Freddy during this intro section of the game, where the two of them talk to each other for a while doing certain tasks. So if we were to go on here, you can also see I've added onto the mirror, and as you can see in here, if I were to break this, on the other side of this is another almost built identical room, and I'm going to put glass there instead, because then it's going to look like Freddy's actually inside, because I'm going to actually teleport Freddy in there to make it look like it's a real working mirror. So if I click this button, the game will start, and as you can see, it will do the intro like I've shown you before, but this time when we be teleported in here, we can actually see Freddy's armor stand model being teleported in there while the dialogue happens in chat. Now this is actually a really good feature, and it's much more better than just looking into straight ice in the wall. So as you can see, why Gregory and Freddy just talk in chat for a while. As you can see, I'm also locked into place, so I can't do anything given the invisibility effect, so I don't see my hand because I'm inside Freddy, and I'll see Freddy's hands, but that's not how it works in Security Breach. So after a quick while, as you can see, it will give me the option to exit Freddy by crouching, and if I do that, as you can see, he now releases me, and I can do whatever we want, and the mirror is now changed back to ice because we do not want to see an empty room. So now I've added quite a bit more command blocks, as you can see here, because this is where Freddy is meant to scan the player to look for their identity. So here's a more new scoreboard timer, and a bunch more dialogue has been added, as you can see, with the two of them more talking about what's going on. Now after quite a while, we will get a few more tasks, but the majority of the game is just simple stuff like this. So a few particles will be playing in front of Freddy's eyes to look like he's scanning me, and if I start that, as you can see, a bunch of beeping will happen while his particles scan me until he eventually drops me, and and starts talking about who I am, and he asks who I are, and we are of course Gregory. So he'll try and notify the main office, and some people will play until he'll disconnect because he does not have access to the main network, because Vanessa has cut him off from the main network until she finds Gregory. So we're going to have to wait through this dialogue until they keep talking, and Freddy's confused. And then this is when we're going to have to look out the window, and we'll see Vanessa walking across outside in the Rockstar Road. And we'll have to detect when we walk here, so we just see Vanessa slightly walking past in front of us in front of the window before Freddy eventually gives us the Faz watch. And here's our model of Vanessa. As you can see, we can hear her footsteps and her cap and her arms and her legs moving back and forth to make it look like she's walking, with a simple scoreboard timer just changing the position of the data values of her legs in a smooth animation, making it look like she'll walk. So she'll be teleported up here, and since she's being teleported forward constantly in her animation, it will make it look like she's walking across instead of just sliding across how she actually is. So we'll walk up to here, and as you can see, the dialogue starts playing. She's teleported up where she slowly teleports forward at it, and then you can hear her footsteps, and after a certain amount of time she'll get to a certain point in time before she just teleports back down here, and you can't hear her footsteps anymore, and Gregory and Freddy continue to talk before Freddy's chest cavity opens up to give us the Faz watch. Now this is what it's going to look like when Freddy's chest cavity is open. As you can see, we have a little armor stand for the torso, a little bit of chain monster spawner at the back with black concrete, then with the GIF and an interaction. And as you can see, this interaction will always follow him to make it look like it's a part of him. And what we're going to have to do is going to have to hit this interaction, and as you can see, the Faz watch has been taken, and it will say something in chat while playing a few sounds and let us know that we've taken the Faz watch. Now moving on to the Faz watch, I have quite a few ideas of how to do this because I've actually made it quite a few more times than you guys may know. So as you can see, we have an item called Faz watch, and it's just a player head with the name Faz watch, and as you can see, this detects when we hold it. As you can see, when I hold it, this comparator lights up, and when we don't, it doesn't, because it's just detecting if the player is holding a player head with the name Faz watch. And if this applies, the comparator will activate, detecting that we are holding this item called the Faz watch, which we can do something else. And if we throw it, nothing's going to happen because we're not going to actually throw it to make this work, because instead we are actually going to not throw it but use an interaction, just like I did for my grab pack. So this will detect when we hold the Faz watch item, and it'll teleport the interaction to us instead of constantly like I did for my grab pack, because we only want to interact with this interaction when we're holding the Faz watch item. So it'll teleport back, and inside these command boxes it detects when we hold that, and it'll teleport FWI of this interaction to the player, so we look around and it will be the interaction. We can hit it and activate and detect whatever we want. So we can continue to walk around, hit, punch, do whatever we want with it, and it will also teleport it back when we're no longer holding it, so we're replacing the if with an unless. And it'll just teleport it back to these coordinates when I'm no longer holding the Faz watch, and it's a pretty convenient system, and I'll probably use this a lot more often, so I can move around and go wherever I want, and it will always teleport back to the player as long as they're holding the Faz watch item. So now I've made a complex system right here that will teleport the player inside a little box. As you can see, if we hold it, it will teleport the player inside this small box here with a sculpt outline to make it look how it sort of does in Security Breach with its little thing. And we'll get two little inventory slots replaced with cameras and messages so we know what we can do inside the Faz watch. So we'll be teleported in here and we'll be forced to look into this wall. And if we'll punch it, we'll be teleported in. So to demonstrate this, if I punched it, as you can see, I did not mean to do that, but we'll be locked in place, and as you can see, we'll be teleported inside of that box. So if I hit it, as you can see, we're teleported inside of this box, and we're always teleported back out here. Now we're just teleported back out here for a placeholder, so if I go inside Freddy's room and open the Faz watch really quickly, as you can see, we'll be teleported in there, but then we'll be teleported back out. So we actually want a way to save the player's location, so they always be teleported back where they actually threw the Faz watch. And the way we do this is, of course, with armor stands. And as you may have noticed, there are two pairs of arms here and a chest in here with a bunch of items. And the reason there is because there's an actual much bigger model in here that just don't have its armor on. And because we don't want to see the armor when we're not actually meant to. So if we activate the Faz watch by just clicking anywhere, as you might have seen for a split second, there was a model of Gregory being teleported to my location. So if we just go over here in Rockstar Row for, say, maybe just inside Freddy's room and activate it and just stand specifically right on top of this, so we get a specific location and we activate it and deactivate it, we'll be teleported to this exact location where we opened it. And if we do it again, we can do anywhere and it'll constantly change. And the way that it is it's teleporting this armor stand to the player right before they teleport inside of this box. And then you can see if I disconnect the player, just like this, so I'm disconnecting my camera, and as you see, it's teleported to myself, and then when I get out of this Faz watch, it will then disconnect me and teleport me to that armor stand. So what it's doing basically is it's teleporting the armor stand to me, and then once I get out of the Fazwatch, it will teleport me to the armor stand before teleporting me back, and here's a more demonstration looks for it. So it's just teleporting me inside the box before I teleport the armor stand. The Gregory model will be visible, and this is also very helpful because it means we can also see the Gregory model when we're inside of the cameras, which is exactly how it works inside of Security Breach. Now, if you thought that was a complex system, just take a look at the message system. So if inside of these two chests right here is a couple items. So we have this one, and it has the cameras and messages items. And it just has a little description of what's going inside the Pizzaplex and the cameras. And what we're going to do is we'll click that and we'll get these two items, as you can see. And what we'll have to do is we'll hit them and punch them like that. Now the cameras has no interaction yet, because that's why I just broke that, because we actually don't need any news for the cameras anytime soon. So we only have two interactions now, one for the opening Fazwatch and one for the messages. Now, once we get out of Freddy's room itself by pressing a couple buttons and getting the Fazwatch, this is when the vent animatronics will start speaking. So as you can see, we have the vent animatronics right here, where it will execute at the position of a Roxy armor stand, and then it will execute if we're close to that armor stand, so we'll only play if we're close enough to it, and then it will play Roxy's dialogue that plays why we are in the vent. And also you may be able to hear Monty's raging inside of his room with all of his loud sound, and it's just a bunch of netherite sound, armor stands breaking doors, and glass breaking sounds played over and over again, as you can see here. And it's also executing if a score called beginning game matches 1, because we don't want these sounds playing throughout the entire game, even when we have decommissioned Monty later on in the game. Same as Chica, because Chica's not always going to be in her room playing the guitar. So if we go down here, as you can see, here's the guitar format, and as you can see, it will once again position there, and then it detects if we're close enough to it, and then if the beginning game is active, because we don't always want to hear these sounds, even when the animatronics are not in the room, so we have just played that. So then once we do that, all three of them will play. And here is the Roxy model, because as you can see, she is quite detailed and uses lots of different armor stands for all of her bodies. And she's also taller than the player, because so are the armor stands in Security Breach. Now Chica also is taller than the player, and is 1.2 blocks tall, just the same as Freddy is. And Monty does not actually have an armor stand, because there's no need to be one, because we don't actually see Monty in the game either. So now that we've done all of this, back inside Freddy's room, we'll go about back here, and then we'll go up into the vent. And if I show this off, when I stand right here, as you can see, Roxy will start talking throughout the vents, and she'll talk and talk. But if I go away about 10 blocks or so, she'll stop talking, but the second I go back close to her within 10 blocks, she'll start speaking again, because we don't want to be able to hear her even if we're on the other side of the Pizzaplex. So we'll only be able to hear her if we're close enough to her. Same with the other two sounds playing in Chica's and Monty's room. As you can see, if we go up here, once we get super close, we can start hearing Monty only where we get close, and we can't hear Chica's guitar until we get close enough to Chica, because we don't want to hear this throughout the entire Pizzaplex. So now all we have to do is actually make the voice lines that play. So when we'll exit the vent, Dread Unit will say some lines about how Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex will be closing pretty shortly, and he will tell you that we need to make our way to the front of the building, why it will tell us that the time is 10:30 p.m. So as you can see, if I were to drop from the vent right here, and I'll fall down, as you can see above my action bar, it says 11:30 p.m, while in chat, Dread Unit is now saying that the Pizzaplex is closed, and that we should make our way to the front of the building, where we'll see free novelty glasses, a voucher for 1 free soda refill, and you'll sign a legal disclaimer where you will release all liability of anything that might have happened to your visit. So now we need to go over here and grab the photo pass, and as you can see, I made this door work by cloning commands. As you can see, we're going to play a little sound when the door opens and closes. So over here we have to focus on this GIF right here, where once again we'll use an interaction to punch on it. So as you can see, I've added an interaction, so if I turn it on, as you can hear, there's a small interaction right here, and down here is everything that makes that work. And what it's doing is it detects when the player no longer has the photo pass, so they can activate it and can't get infinite photo passes. Then this chain of command will then heal the player a little bit and clone that broken head up into the build and give the player the photo pass. Then Freddy will tell the player to go release him from his room, because we now have the photo pass to do so. So if we go up and punch this interaction, some sparkles will play from some confetti, it will tell us to use the photo pass to release Freddy, and then Freddy will tell us himself, and we can no longer hit this interaction, because we don't want to be able to take the photo pass once we already have. Because right here it detects if I have the photo pass, and if I don't, it will power, and when it powers, it will remove it so it doesn't work anymore. So if I reset it by clicking this button, what it will do is it will make it so I no longer have it, and when I punch it, as you can see, it will power, and I'll get the exact same thing again, but I can't do it once it's already been powered, because you can't get the same thing twice. If I go over to Freddy's room, this is when we can release him. Now this is the system that makes it so we can enter and exit Freddy. So as you can see, an interaction is teleported in Freddy's chest, and this command is detects what happens if we have powered it, and it'll make it so Freddy no longer looks at this, removes the attack, and put us in spectator for a quick second. Then it will teleport us in front of Freddy really quickly and put us in Freddy before playing a little sound. And then these commands down here powers when we're inside of Freddy. It'll teleport Freddy on this block because he's no longer need to be viewed, or they make it a bit bigger to make it seem like that we're actually the size of Freddy himself instead of just some random size. It'll give us invisibility, replace us with the head in the chest from earlier, and then put us in adventure mode to make sure nothing bad happens. Now this is a pre-dictate command, and what it does, it detects if we're inside Freddy and when we crouch, and when that happens, it'll get us out of Freddy by doing the opposite, by removing everything that command chain just gave us. So then over here, it will do the Fazwatch stuff, which will do the exit Freddy if the BG happens, because beginning game does not want us to exit Freddy in the beginning game. So as you can see, he's teleported on that block, and we can freely walk around. I can't jump either, because I'm spamming space right now, but nothing's happening. I can walk around, and I'm also invisible, and have the Glamrock Freddy head. Now I can walk around and do whatever I want, but I cannot exit Freddy, because the beginning game is active, and we do not want to be able to exit Freddy at the beginning of the game. But if we set the score so that I can exit Freddy, it still won't let us, because we need the beginning game to be set to 0. So we have to manually force us out of Freddy, just like how we'll do when we reach first aid. So if I enter Freddy and then fly around the build, let's say up here, and then we exit Freddy by doing this command, Freddy will then be teleported behind us to make it look like we're inside him. So after we go down the staircase and go through this door, which I made work, we'll be stopped in our tracks. So once this door opens, we can walk up here, and we'll be forcefully stopped by some beacon plays because we have the slowness effect. Freddy will think we are broken, and they'll have a chat with Gregory and Freddy because they don't think they'll make it to the lobby if they make this pit stop. We then need Freddy to forcefully make the player be teleported down this hallway, so we have forcefully exited Freddy, and we can enter first aid. And the way that works is this with this simple setup right here. And as you can see, there's an armor stand right here, and this is what will teleport us back in. So when we get to the certain point, it will teleport this armor stand in a certain pattern path to make it look like we're doing that. So to put us in Freddy, as you can see, it will freeze us in our tracks, so we are no longer being able to move with night vision, slowness, saturation, and all of that. So we have all the effects we need, and after this time it's complete after they talk, we'll be teleported to this armor stand, we'll be teleporting in this hallway, where it will forcefully make us exit Freddy and teleport to that armor stand, which is pretty simple. So now we'll be stopped in our tracks after we go through the utility tunnel, where Freddy will say he's conveniently run out of power just when we encounter a threat. So this will then start a chain of reactions where Freddy will start talking, and I've activated it here. So if I go up into here, Freddy's currently in the charging station at the moment because that's where he is, and after a short period of time he'll be teleported in front of us where he'll walk into the charging pod. As you can see, he's just floating there, but I'll fix that later. He'll be teleported in there, and then we have to go through here where, as you can see, here are these paint cans right here that we have to knock over because Chica's in this bathroom. So if we go through here, as you can see, here's Chica's model, and at the moment she has no animation because it won't be visible because we'll be jump scared, but as you can see, there's some particles of her eating trash with her in that situation. So this is when we're going to have to use the paint can. So if you hit that, it will activate the paint can, distracting Chica, teleporting her out. So now with the AI done, as you can see, there is Chica over there. If we get too close, she'll start chasing us. So if we hit this right here, they'll jump up higher because we hit the interaction. And if we go back, as you can see, a wandering trader has now been summoned and replaced by Chica. And we can hit her because this wandering trader can now have the abilities to open doors, so they can go wherever they want. So as you can see, because this entity right here has the tag animatronic, and any tag with the animatronic can open a door. So if you can have the tag animatronic, you can open doors inside the pizzaplex, so it makes it so really easy so the animatronics can chase us if they get stuck by closing doors. So now we have to actually make it so a scoreboard will happen. So if Chica distract max is 0, the armor stand model will be up here and the wandering trader will be gone. But if we set it to 1, she will be replaced by a wandering trader, because we can use the wander target value to use the wander target to where we want the wandering trader to teleport to, in this case where the paint cans are. So when we'll hit this, its wander target will be put there, so then the wandering trader will be forced to exit this room and be teleported out there. So as you can see, here is our wandering trader, and to demonstrate this, I have 4 points on these orange concrete. So if I were to click this button right here, as you can see, the wandering trader will now go close enough to this block before ignoring it. Then it'll go over to this block now because I've selected that one, and if I click this one, it'll go to this one, and then the last one, of course, it will go to that one. So we can forcefully control where we want this wandering trader to go. So now we just have to link this up with Chica and with the paint cans coordinates. So now with this all set up, as you can see, if I'll show you, when we open this door, as you can see here, Gregory will say some dialogue while ambience plays that we have spotted Chica as a little jump scare. So then we'll hit this, and as you can see, it will activate the paint cans where we'll have to crouch, and as you can see, Chica is now being teleported out here with her wander target, because with the wander target, her wander target is right where the cans are, so she can just stand there and we can move past her while we sneakily get past her and she is distracted. We can then move on, go through the other utility tunnels before we encounter Monty and get chased by him. Now before we do that, we need to finish a problem. Chica doesn't actually have any animations because she doesn't actually have anything. So if I were to set this to 0 real quick, as you can see she's eating, and before she didn't have any real walk animation. And as you can see, she now has one because it detects when the wandering trader is moving, and it will make a scoreboard animation timer over here, as you can see, with this massive blob of commands right here, change the value of the Chica's armor stand's legs. Now this will only happen when she is moving because it will detect when the wandering trader is or isn't in motion, and as you can see in this command right down here, when she's not moving, it will do all of this, so she'll go back to normal instead of her legs being mid-frozen, and she'll be teleported like this. And if she's not, it's a pretty simple system instead of just having her always walking or always not walking, so it's either sliding or always moonwalking. So if we were to open this door and go out here and sneak past Chica, she would not chase us unless we get too close to her or we can be spotted by her. Now this is where the Monty Chica chase will happen. So if I fly over here and go through the doors all the way over here, this is when we'll reach the hallway where Monty will teleport behind us and start chasing us. Now regarding Monty himself, he is quite made up of quite few armor stands, his arms, his legs, and his iconic mohawk, and has one armor stand leg for his tail, and I quite like how it turned out. Now here are all the commands that make this part of the chase work, with a cloned in version of the fence, and the reason I'm being cautious is because it detects when you get too close to the gate, and then it will turn us around where Monty will start chasing us, which I don't want to exactly show off yet. So this is what happens, it detects when we get to a certain point in time, and then it will teleport us on there and start a scoreboard timer and break the gate. Now over here, just like Chica, Monty has a walking animation only when a certain entity is in motion, and that being a zombie, and that zombie will always be teleported to this armor stand model to make it look like Monty is chasing us instead of just a normal zombie. So if I go over here and go into survival so the zombie can actually spot us, it will teleport us around, say there you are, and then the zombie will be teleported up into the building. As you can see, Monty is now chasing me, and I have to run away, or because if I don't, I'll get jump scared, of course. So he's easy to outrun, but if you're not fast enough, he can easily catch up to you. Now as you can see in chat, it does say it is Roxy. Roxy says, are you lost? But the model isn't there yet, and I will eventually add it. Now he doesn't have the tag animatronic because I haven't given it to him yet, but we can give it to him later. So now this is where Chica comes into the picture, where this command block chain detects when we get too close to a certain hallway, which will then power this command. And this will now knock over the barrels that is blocking off that hallway that is cut in the actual game. It will summon a zombie for Chica. It will then say in chat what Chica is saying before running the rest of these commands, which will remove the AI from the Monty zombie, so Monty cannot kill us during the chase. And then after a short period of delay, like this, it will then give the AI back to the zombie so he can continue chasing, and the chase will continue. So if I were to show this off to you guys, if I were to walk over here and go into survival mode, we'll be teleported around really easily, where Chica will then start chasing us, and we can trigger this lots of times. And as you can see, we'll go up to this staircase here, where Chica will then be chasing us and won't stop chasing us until she reaches us or we despawn her. And we can keep going up this staircase to evade her, or we can wait for her to jump scare us by going after her. So as you can see, she's still running after us, and she won't lose sight of us until after a certain period of time. This is when we'll need to go into the security office, and Chica will still be chasing her. Usually she'll be faster than this, but at the moment I haven't given her any speed, so she'll be right there, and we'll have to evade her up this staircase until we would eventually go into the security office over here by walking up into this door right here, and the door would close, and then Chica would be stopped, and she can no longer get us. Now we also can't exit, and this is when we'll have to be given the security cameras. Now this is the time where we actually need to start working on them. So the way this works is exactly like how the messages work. So we'll be given the fast watch, and when we activate it and we hold the camera item, an interaction will be teleported in front of us, and we can hit this and we'll be teleported into a certain area. So at the point we have one camera active and it is cam on. So at the moment we can also deactivate the cameras and we'll once again be teleported back where we are. So now all we need to do is just make multiple cameras and make them switchable throughout this little area. So inside here we'll be then have to go out. We'll use the saving station, which I'll explain in the later video, where we would then have to go around and evade Chica. And we also need to add the gift boxes, which I won't do at the point in time. Now this is when Chica will become a full-on wandering trader and will have to go around this little hallway. So this command block right here is what's setting up this. So it detects if an entity with the tag BG1 or beginning game Chica, and then it will then put a scoreboard player pose to 1, changing the wander target of Chica to the certain corner that she's allocated. It then detects when she gets close to that corner where there is an armor stand. It will then start a wait timer which will remove the AI of Chica so she'll no longer move during this segment, and it will just repeat over and over again until she eventually goes back over here where she'll reach the first corner again, and then the cycle will just repeat over and over again. Now this is what does the spotted, and at the moment it just says spotted, but after a short period of time I will make it so she'll turn into a zombie. So as you can see right there, she's just wandering around doing her little cycle, and if I get too close to her, as you can see in chat, it's slammed flooded with spotted, because this is when she'll turn into a zombie and start chasing the player. Now I've also made it so when she'll look at you, it'll say spotted, so at the moment she's just going through a cycle, but she doesn't actually turn into a zombie, which is the next thing we need to do before making the lobby doors close, completing the recreation. Now with the final thing here being the lobby door closing and the intercom telling us that the place is now closed. So with these couple frames of the door, it will close the lobby door when we get to a certain point out of the hallway. It will then play the intercom that the Mega Pizzaplex is closed before Gregory says no, and then we'll continue on the rest of the game, but I'm not adding that. Now this is everything I wanted to do for episode 1 of recreating the entire Security Breach game in Minecraft. I hope you all enjoyed how it went out, and this project just took about 1200 command blocks in total and is very impressive in my opinion, and I love how it turned out, and I hope you guys will as well. So now we should go take into a gameplay and see what it will look like for a full first hour of Security Breach in Minecraft. I hope you all enjoy it. So here we are inside of Freddy. So safe mode, and then here we are. Showtime already. So Freddy is experiencing malfunction and we are locked in place. We cannot move. This is our locked camera whether we want it to be or not. Let's just wait for Freddy. As you can see, it's locked. Let's just wait for Freddy and Gregory to stop talking. Alright, so it's not a safe play area and we need to exit Freddy. Crouch. We click crouch and exit Freddy. And once we've done that, as you can see, we can look around the room. It's pretty good, pretty cool in my opinion, and I like how it turned out. Thank you to our helpers. Over here's a door, microphone, and then Freddy will notify the main office. Here's a little Freddy plush and all that, Freddy plush everywhere. Now this is where we will have to look out the window, because the window is out there. So that's security yard. She can help. Yep, look out window. And yep, there's Vanessa walking across the screen. And now we can go back to Freddy where he will give us the Faz watch. Plants around, the security cameras, lightning bolts on the ceiling, star on ceiling, and yet take the Faz watch from Freddy. We can grab that, we get the beeping and the confetti flying everywhere. Just all the party hats, everything littered. We can now open the Faz watch by punching the air, and then we can open the messages where Freddy will be sending us an encoded message where he will now allow us to activate security protocols or open this door in the back room, because it is the only door in the room. We click it, door opens, and we are fine. And then he tells us we need to go into an air vent inside the maintenance room. So if we go in here, we can see a flashlight recharger, some bins, shelves, wires on the ceiling, there's a bunch of crates and storage containers over here, and then we can save our game by using the save station, recharge station that we can lose not now because we do not have full access to Freddy, and we can go in the vent where of course Roxy is talking to herself in the mirror because she's weird. Now anyway, if we go back this way, she'll stop talking because we get too far away from her, and then we'll start to be there he is. Keep going this way, and here we are. You can hear Cheeky playing on her guitar. I don't think we can see her in this way, so no. Go to her second opening. Don't know why Chica has two, but she does. Alright, yeah, there she is, playing her guitar. And then we can now exit into Rockstar Row. It's 11:30 PM. Got all the archives of Glamrock animatronics on the wall, guitar and these little cases with things inside them, some trees and lots of things on the wall with the statue of course, Glamrock Chica, Monty and Roxy and Freddy. And as you can see, they all have their green rooms, but Monty's is blocked off. We have all the artwork on the wall, the backstage office, and then we have the cutout of Pirate Foxy. In there we do have Roxy, still looking in the mirror and just saying nothing. And over here we have more cases and stuff like that. Another Freddy statue right up here. Looks pretty cool in my opinion. Thank you so much for the help, guys. And over here is the artwork where we need, of course, to help Freddy get out of his room. So if we go over here, of course we can walk up to the door, but we do not have the photo pass. So it looks like we are going to have to find a convenience counter, because that is where most photo passes are. But first we can check, can we actually go through this door into the maintenance tunnels, where the FNAF 1 stage is right over here, where it would have been back in FNAF 1? But nope, it just says requires Freddy, because we need to be inside Freddy for this to work. Now here's some pats right there, and if we go over here, we are able to find the door into the convenience counter. It's a bit dark because it's not fully complete yet, but we have some TVs and then a cardboard cutout of Space Freddy and the photo pass. We can grab it, confetti goes everywhere. Now we need to use the photo pass to release Freddy, and Freddy is telling us to go release him. So let's just open the door over here. And now go release Freddy from his room, where we can now go into the utility tunnels with all of the other artwork on the walls, like the neon signs and all the text. So this time the door will actually open, because we do have a photo pass, unlike before. This is where Freddy will start speaking. We can look around some posters on the wall. Here's Freddy himself. We can, oh, that was a bit of a lag spike, probably because maps are big, but we can continue to go. Over here we have a bunch of different areas. Once, of course, the statues of all the glamour kind of opponents again. Once again, the little wet floor bots on the floor right there. And this door actually opens now, and we are in the utility tunnels. We can now go down these steps, and we will eventually see an endoskeleton on the wall that I forgot to add sounds. I'm just realizing now. No, is that? I missed it. I think I missed it. Damn. Well, we can go down here, and then we will talk to Vanessa. Yeah, Vanessa's calling out to Gregory, seeing if he wants to come back up. And we can continue going down our staircase, because this has nothing to do with us. We're just Freddy. So we can continue walking down the staircase until we reach the ground floor. And then we're on the ground floor right now, and we can walk around. We have some signings on the wall, and a bunch of stuff. We have some doors, some little crates on the floor. And then, Gregory, you are broken. We'll hear some beeping. And Freddy is now detecting injury from Gregory, and we can look around, but we cannot move because we are forced into this, locked into the position. We can now be forced out of Freddy, and here we are, into the first aid area. So now we can look around, got some pipes everywhere. We can go up here, but we do not have the upgrade we need to get into this room, so it's pretty much worthless. We can go back down here, and then enter first aid, and listen to Vanessa and Freddy talk. Obviously, Freddy does know how he got down here, because I brought him down here, and Vanessa tells him how he blew it tonight and he broke down on stage, and he now is on reduced power, and she has a new problem, and Freddy apologizes because he feels like he needs to do that, and now he is telling Gregory to get Gregory. Freddy would never betray me like that. We can now exit first aid by just punching, and Vanessa is magically gone. Now we can now exit Freddy, enter Freddy, again, and then we can now go all the way back into the utility tunnels and walk up and try and make our way and find a safe path to the main lobby. And then this is where Gregory asks, where are we? And obviously we are under the Pizzaplex, and there are some secret rooms that require upgrades to get into, some parts, some boxes, lights on the walls, wires through the ceiling, lots of stuff everywhere, some traffic cones on the floor, bunch of stuff, dead staff bot. We can go down this hallway, which has some artwork of the Mega Pizzaplex on the wall. It also has some barrels in this room, some barrels on the floor, like that. We can now go up another staircase, and when we get to the top, most roughly, we are going to have low power, because Freddy did not finish recharging, because he didn't want to. So now, as you can see, another room blocked off by an upgrade that we also once again do not have before Freddy will run out of power and kick us out. This is where Freddy will abandon us and charge in a restart station until the next bus, aka daycare. So until daycare, we have no Freddy at all, and he'll just chill in that charging station right there. Now we'll grab that bag later, and here we can save our game to make sure we don't lose any of our progress. We can now go down here and see our paint cans, but if we go in here, and oh look, it's Chica. So we gotta sneak past her by making a distraction. Hit that, she's gone, I hope. Yeah, she's out. So now we can sneak our way past her, she can't see us. Crouch. Alright, good. She's fine. I don't think she spotted us just yet. Oh yeah, alright, it was safe. So now we can open this door, and yep, we are no longer in the midst of Chica. We could go this way, but I feel like this way is quicker, so I'm just gonna go this way instead. Go down here, open this door, and then we can go save at this station right here to make sure we don't lose any of our progress. Now this is where there is a Monty fence conveniently placed in a long narrow hallway, and then Monty has spotted us and we have to run. Just run, do not look back, even though I probably will look back. Oh, he's actually pretty far away. I actually think I might be able to get away from him. Just focus on running. Yeah, he's not going to catch up to me. No, Roxy, I know the Pizzaplex very well. Oh, this is a part. I have playtested this a few times, and I usually die here. So that's going to be a bit of an annoyance. But we're going to go up, keep going. Do not let Chica get you. Up, 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 go, go, go. Alright, we're at the top, we're at the top, we're at the top, we're at the top. There, it's right there. The door's right there, right there. Alright, we're in. So since we're in, we are safe now. And Monty is outside that door. You just can't see him because the door is 2 blocks thick. So we look around. It's a pretty unique office. Not all that interesting. Has a few couple things. Yep, and they're right there. Yep, alright, so there's a power. The power is at 15% and they're pounding on the door. It doesn't really matter. We can now grab this badge and we can now get security protocols, aka security cameras, open our fast watch, and now we actually have access to the cameras. There's Chica. We should be good. So if we just move. Yeah, alright, so there Monty is. Chica's right there. Okay, I think we are safe to go. Just save station at the station. And we can go over here. I think she may have moved. Yep, she has. There she is. Alright, so I usually keep always getting mixed up which side is what. And I usually end up almost running into her, rather than going the other way. And it's not a really good tactic. So I think it would be safe to go now. Oh god. Yep, I did it again. I did it again. Go, 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 go. Come on. I don't think she spotted us. Yep, we didn't. Now we're in the Mega Pizzaplex. We are now in the lobby. Keep going, artwork on the wall, and now the door is going to close, and now we're locked in. How wonderful. Now this actually brings us to the end of the recreation, and that's everything that's going to be shown off in today's video. I hope you all enjoyed that, and it was such a fun thing putting together, and there's going to be more episodes of this in the future, so make sure you stick around and see those when they come out. So now with that being over, now let's end today's video.